What you are looking at is what I believe is the unsung hero of next generation gaming, a multicolor producing light strip and a light bar hybrid that had a relatively quiet release just a few weeks ago. But let me tell you now, you don't want to sleep on this new release, because since I have installed it, I have never been more immersed within the worlds of the games that I've been playing. But why is that? Because this new Govee Immersion light kit isn't simply previously released products repackaged and resold together. No, there have been some significant improvements for this latest model here over its predecessor, and gaming, streaming TV shows, and watching movies are never going to be the same. For this video, we'll take a close look at this new and improved TV color syncing light system from Govee, now more efficient and accurate than ever before. We'll look at how it performs against the previous models, as well as how it holds up against some of the latest gaming titles, and I will share some truly game-changing news with you guys that has led me on the path of this epiphany, that the Govee Immersion light system is not only the unsung hero, but the very best TV color syncing option to date for next generation gaming. Let's get into the specs. The Govee Immersion light kit has a working voltage of 12 volts, a 36 max wattage, a color temperature range between 2200 and 6500 Kelvin, and a combined lumen output of roughly 700 lumens. Both light strip, which supports 55 to 65 inch TVs, and the 10-inch pair of light bars feature what is referred to as RGBIC technology. This means that in addition to producing millions of solid RGB colors, the strip and the light bars are capable of producing a multicolor line of light simultaneously. The light bars specifically even feature dedicated cool and warm white chips that allow them to produce a more natural color representation of cool and warm white temperatures. This TV color tracking kit is both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth compatible and features support for She Who Should Not Be Named, Google Home Assistant, IFT, and it even has Siri support features. Unboxing the new Immersion kit is a very similar experience to that if you were to unbox the separately sold light strip and TV light bar products, but this time around, the kit has been trimmed down and is much more efficient. At a glance, here are all components included inside. We have the two stars of the show, the RGBIC TV light strip and a pair of RGBIC WW light bars, which also ship with a pair of vertical mount stands. And then we have a single 1080p camera that on the surface appears to be virtually identical to the camera that's included for the original products. But as we'll discuss in a bit, there may have actually been some internal modifications made on this new camera. Next up, we have a much beefier power brick than the original, which is to be expected because this new power brick is designed to power both the light strip and the bars simultaneously. And the final piece of hardware, which is truly the unsung hero of this new Immersion light kit, the control box, which on the surface looks very similar to the original as well, with the exception that the new model now has two USB-C ports that are used to bridge the light strips and the bars together. But despite the similarities that these two control boxes share, I can tell you right off the bat that without a doubt, the new version is much more sophisticated, which we'll discuss in greater details during the features. And lastly, we have the calibration foam squares and two bags of adhesive mounting clips, which are used to add additional support to the Immersion light strip once it's mounted behind your TV if needed. So guys, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this portion of the video, because at this point there's a pretty respectable archive of videos that you can reference on the channel for all sorts of tips, tricks, and tutorials. So once you have the light strips attached to the back of your TV as shown, the light bars inserted inside of the vertical mount stands and placed to the sides of your TV, and you have your camera properly positioned to capture the entire screen, jump inside of the Govee Home app and search H605B to begin the pairing process. First and foremost, the app is going to ask you to confirm the direction the light strips have been installed in. From there, the Govee Home app will clearly walk you through the camera calibration process. During the unboxing, I mentioned that the new Immersion camera looks virtually identical on the surface to the previous model. But interestingly enough, when I tried using the older camera with the new control box, the app did not recognize the camera and I was unable to complete the calibration process. Up until a few weeks ago, I have been using both the separately sold Immersion light strip and the Flow Pro light bars together for over 6 months. And I can tell you now that a huge perk of using the new kit over the originals is being able to control everything inside of a single device. From music modes, segment control in the color tab, to 32 unique scenes and DIY custom effects, and yes, even video mode, everything feels so much more seamless. But if you want to know my honest opinion, the merging of these two products with the new control box, along with the ability to use a single camera to support them both, is not the biggest selling point for this new product. And honestly, if these were the only new additions, I would not rush out to buy the new Govee Immersion combo kit if I recently bought the first models, but there is much more to it than that, because there are two major areas of improvement from a performance standpoint that I think will warrant an upgrade for a lot of people out there. Firstly, the days of the FlowPro light bars struggling to keep up with the Immersion light strip is a thing of the past, because the FlowPro light bars can now leverage each and every IC segment within video mode, meaning that you'll be getting a multicolored display of lights with the light bars in accordance with the image on your screen, just as with the light strips, which is a huge step in the right direction towards expanding on the overall immersion experience. Because as you may recall, when the light bars were first released about 6 months ago, they could only portray a single dominant color for either side. And then some months later, an update was released, which allowed the left and the right bar to sync independently, but only for single solid colors. Now this was a great improvement for its time, but this update had yet to unlock the FlowPro bar's full potential. But this time around, guys, with this new kit, the potential is fully realized. You can see inside of the app that there are now 4 individual presets within the video mode tab. From left to right, same color as the name implies, is going to sync both the immersion light strip and the left and right bars to the single most dominant color being shown on your screen. For the different color preset, the immersion light strip will sync to a single solid color, while the bars will track the dominant color for each respective side of the TV as shown. The whole bar preset will activate the IC color tracking for the immersion light strip, but the bars will continue to display a single dominant color for each respective side of the TV. And finally, my personal favorite preset within the video mode tab, which unlocks the full potential of this new immersion kit, bar segment. This setting, guys, is going to offer you the most dynamic and immersive experience of any Govee smart light product to date. Both the light strip and the bars are leveraging each and every individually addressable area. You can see as the colors move across the screen, the IC areas are actively shifting and adjusting accordingly to create an extraordinarily impressive light show. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the first major improvement over the predecessor that warrants a serious consideration for an upgrade. But we're not done yet, because overall color deviation has been vastly minimized. And skin tone color translation has been significantly improved, so much so that the new Govee Immersion Light Kit works amazingly well for non-CGI and animation content. Now we're going to talk more on this during the final verdict, but out of all of the obstacles that Govee has been able to overcome so far, this is what excites me the most. And this milestone, in addition to a huge news update that we'll discuss in just a second, is why I believe that the Govee Immersion has become the best TV color syncing light kit to date for next generation gaming. You see, because the Immersion technology functions 100% externally, meaning that an HDMI pass-through signal is not required, your shiny new console is going to be able to perform at the most optimal level using the highest specifications possible. This is a significant advantage that external color syncing technology has over internal data pass-through tech. Because while internal devices such as the Philips Hue Sync Box can generally offer a bit more accuracy, they also introduce a number of obstacles for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Both of these next-gen consoles have the ability to support games up to 120Hz refresh rate while maintaining a 4K image resolution. After a very recent update, the Philips Hue HDMI Sync Box can now support 120Hz refresh rate, but at the cost of a resolution drop of 1080p for the PS5 and 1440p for the Series X. And if you really want that 4K resolution for the Sync Box, that refresh rate is going to drop down to 60Hz. This is because the current Sync Box hardware is using HDMI 2.0 ports, while the next generation consoles require HDMI 2.1 in order to take advantage of max performance. Before I dive in on this massive news concerning the Govee Light system, 98.1% of you guys watching my videos are not subscribed. So please make sure to take the time to subscribe and support a small creator. I believe in the content that I put out, and the best way to show me that you do as well is to hit that little red button. For those that do it, I greatly appreciate it. Now guys, we'll get back to the Immersion kit in just a sec, but first and foremost, this news comes directly from Govee themselves. I have been harping over this for nearly a year. It's documented, but it looks like it's finally going to happen. Sometime in November this year, Govee is going to drop an app update labeled version 4.6.0, and it is reportedly going to include a brand new feature that allows users to sync multiple Govee Light products using the 1080p camera of the Govee Immersion Light Kit. From what I've been told, this new feature is unfortunately not going to be available to users who have the older Immersion products because new hardware is going to be required in order to support this firmware feature. Now, I don't have a ton of granular details at this point in terms of how sophisticated bridging multiple devices is going to be at the onset, but this essentially means that Govee owners are going to be able to expand upon their TV color syncing experience using separately sold Govee Light products to create a true TV Govee ecosystem, similar to that of Philips Hue. Additionally, sometime in December this year, a new Immersion light strip that can support 75 to 85-inch TVs and can take advantage of the new firmware feature is going to hit the market. Guys, this is incredible news that absolutely warrants excitement because it appears on the surface, right now couldn't be a better time to be a Govee Smart Light enthusiast. And if you have yet to ever dabble with Govee Light products before, right now might be a really good time to jump on that wagon because it is gaining momentum. I want to emphasize that I have not seen or tested this new feature at the time of this video, so I cannot speak to how polished or fleshed out a feature of this magnitude is going to be right out of the gates. But I'm very excited to learn more, as I'm sure you guys are as well. And I'll be staying on top of this to bring you guys the latest and greatest. Now, switching back to the Govee Immersion Combo Kit, let's take a look at some side-by-side examples of the old Immersion kit versus the new model so you guys can get a better sense of performance and accuracy improvements for yourselves. Here we are looking at the old Immersion kit, model HG199. I want you guys to lock in on how the original model goes about handling skin tones, browns, beiges, and orange color shades in general. You'll notice that magenta and even purple in some cases is heavily relied upon to represent them. This was a problem that began to bug me more and more as I began to use the Immersion more heavily for various types of content. There was also a bug with the light bars specifically, where when the screen is predominantly black, the bars would shift to a dim reddish color, while the Immersion consistently shifted down to a cool white glow. And now let's take a look at the new Govee Immersion Light Kit, model H605B, using the very same clip. You'll notice that those magenta and purplish colors that were popping up around the TV are far less frequent. Govee told me that the color deviation had been significantly minimized with this new hardware and the software that's supporting it well in advance of sending the product over. But I was cautious not to get overly excited about this until I could see it with my own eyes. On this new model here, we're getting smoother color transitions along with deeper oranges and even some salmon colors to represent the skin tones, which looks so much better and organic. And when the screen is predominantly black, the light bars are now consistently shifting down to a cool white glow, just as with the Immersion light strip. Now, is it 100% perfect? No, but to be honest, neither are any internal devices either. And this Govee color syncing system has far less limitations. As previously mentioned, you can game at 4K 120Hz refresh rate because you don't have to worry about an HDMI 2.1 pass-through. And you don't have to worry about DRM issues as with certain streaming platforms such as Netflix and Hulu. And yes, you can use the Immersion system with smart TV apps without worrying about going through additional streaming devices such as Roku and Fire Cube as with the Hue Sync box. The unrestricted, unconditional freedom that the Govee system affords users is something that I've become more and more appreciative of over the past year. You simply set it up and you play and watch whatever you want, however you choose. Now, with all that said, let's talk a little bit about some of the areas that can be improved upon for this latest Immersion kit. First and foremost, with the strips and the bars merged together inside of the Govee Home app as they currently are, you cannot control either device individually in the music, video, scene, or DIY tab. So for example, I cannot set the brightness for the bars in video mode to 50% and the light strips to 80% because whatever brightness setting you select, it will be applied to the entire system as a whole. This will be a really nice feature to have because the bars are naturally brighter than the light strips. So I would like to be able to dial in that setting to my individual liking. It would also be really cool if I could set the strips to the rhythm music mode, for example, and have the bars set to another music mode, such as windmill. And the same would go for scene modes and the ability to leverage sound effects in video mode for a specific device. And last but not least, here is one last feature that would make an awesome addition. If users could specify a horizontal position for the light bars inside of the app. I like to use light bars mounted underneath my TV cabinet, but when using the bar segment mode, the app only syncs colors in the vertical mount position. But with those nitpicks out the way, the new Govee Immersion Combo Kit has really impressed me and far exceeded my expectations. It is hands down Govee's best TV color syncing product to date. And considering all the points that I've highlighted already, efficiency with using a single camera and control box, RGB IC for the light bars in video mode, a huge milestone in color accuracy, and the knowledge that it will soon be able to bridge separately sold light products. I think it goes without saying that this latest edition is definitely worth considering. Whether you already own the original and are thinking about making that upgrade, or you have never heard of Govee or this product before this video, I think for either scenario, you'll thoroughly enjoy this TV light kit, especially if you're a gamer. As I said at the beginning of this video, I believe that this is the best TV color syncing option for next generation gaming to date. Now guys, in case I don't get a chance to upload my next video this month, I want to wish you guys a happy and safe Halloween. I hope that you guys enjoyed this review and found it helpful, and as always, thank you for watching and supporting the channel. I will see you guys in the next video, but until then, peace.